Hello everyone, good morning. Especially to you, Ma'am Majesty Ferrer. I am Martha Grace Cadayana, the first reporter of Group 6. Our chapter is entitled The Women and Work in the Philippines. So, this chapter aims to discuss the various issues women face and the theoretical considerations of women at work. Specifically, the following issues will be discussed: women in the productive sphere and reproductive sphere, the sex-gender system, the valuation of care work, and laws about women and work. Lastly, issues that certain sectors face in the Philippines. So let's start. I will be discussing first the productive sphere and the reproductive sphere. So women in the productive sphere, meaning this is the women's role when it comes to paid employment, market production, and other activities that contribute to the economy. So, as mentioned in the book, is a saying, "A woman's work is never done." Well, this saying is very true because in all forms, all aspects, all or any kind of field of work, women must be there, and the women has a huge role in the economy. Agreeable, right? So next is women in the reproductive sphere, meaning this includes the role of cooking, cleaning the house, washing the dishes, babysitting, bearing and raising a child, and many more. So mostly these roles are like assigned to women. Basically, the economy cannot survive without women, period. Because in both productive and reproductive sphere, women is really needed, and they give like a huge role to this reproductive and productive sphere. Women are the key contributors to the economy and to combating poverty through both remunerated and unremunerated work at home, in the community, and in the workplace. Growing numbers of women have achieved economic independence through gainful employment. But despite to this progress, women still face challenges, the same issues such as wage gap, poverty, and lack of decent work. So, na-mention man ang lack of decent work. So, nasa book is na a policy or law about the right of decent work for women. So there's this law, the right to decent work, in Magna Carta of Women, Section 22 states that, wait, familiar naman mo, ano, na-discuss naman ni sa previous reporters ang Magna Carta for Women. So, laws ni siya or policies about sa women. So Section 22 states that women have the right to decent work. So this stage shall progressively realize and ensure decent work standards for women that involve the creation of jobs of acceptable quality and conditions of freedom, equity, security, and human dignity. So basically, ga-exist naman din siya mga policy. So I hope women deserves to have decent work too. Like, dili ka nang makaharm sa ila, decent work ka nang like, happy sila anak ng job, comfortable sila ng mga work. They deserve that kind of work. So women also experiences limited career choices. So this issue really exists kay the society somehow see women as less capable than men. So mo yung reason na like limited lang ang career choices for women. So second is lack of support facilities, sexual harassment. So very common kayo ang sexual harassment, like given gidiscuss naman ni siya sa previous reporters ang sexual harassment. So kuan like sa ako nga part, whether kuan young or in the right age or old women, sexual harassment wala siya gipili. Like dayong ang worst is gina-normalize na siya karon nga generation, like okay na lang ang mag-catcall bisag dili. So yeah, very wrong jud. Then lack of protection for the informal sector and domestic workers. So have you watched the last MMK episode katong about sa OFW nga woman? Dito siya go-work sa gawas, like iyang work dito is on about sa online, pero na-scam siya dayong gipaadto siya sa nga lugar, pero kuan siya kanang giuwat siya ba, like dili siya decent work iyang napunta dito about scamming, bisag dili siya ganahan, but kuan man dili man siya kaikyas kay kuan man high man ang kuan security ito, so murag napugos na lang siya bisag di siya ganahan nga mang scam og ubang tao, pero gibuhat na lang niya. So moto lack of protection for the informal sector and domestic workers. Then tenants social protection, limited monitoring on labor standards, and unremitting promotion of labor export policy. So, imagine na despite sa contribution sa women sa society, nag-face japon sila o ani nga mga issues. Those issues, those challenges every day, like ito, sexual harassment, and many more issues. So I hope someday these issues will be combat and women will be treated fairly and equally in the. The next topic is all about the multiple burdens of women. So, women joining the labor force still have to attend to their reproductive roles at home, such as cleaning the house, babysitting, washing the dishes, and many more. So, having both reproductive and productive work is what feminists call the double day or multiple burdens. Imagine a woman, gikan siya sa work, or gikan sa work, tas stress kaayo siya sa work, tapos pag uli pa niya, siya pa'y manghugas, siya pa'y magwash the dishes, siya pa'y mag-babysit, siya pa'y magluto. No? So, they call that the double day or multiple burdens. So, the normal work environment pressures people to function efficiently and effectively. This pressure may jeopardize workers' time with their family or their own social lives. It continues to societal expectation to care for their children, which severely limits the possible work they can assume. If women work away from home or take on the night shift, their relationship with their families may be compromised. This concern becomes an issue if women are judged for taking on work outside of the reproductive sphere. So no, grabe jud ang burden sa women kay as mentioned, labor force na sila tas pag uli sila pa mahimo sa mga reproductive mga chores sa balay, and at fault pa jud sila if like dili nila mabalance ang ilahong work o time nila sa family. Kay ang mas na sa society nga mas gi-prioritize nila ang ilang work, so munang ang relationship sa family, sa children, sa husband mao mo yung na compromise. So the perception of the multiple burdens on women compels many employers to assume that women cannot commit to their work, though illegal employees may also have certain preferences for single and married women who have no family obligations, as they are more flexible in terms of the time they can devote to their jobs. Note that these issues are not considerations for hiring and promoting men. In fact, in countries with paternity leave and responsive caretaking policies, men still do have the work women do in terms of care work. The last topic that I will be discussing is about the valuation of care work. While many studies on care work discuss the ways to influence, by the way, care work this includes childcare, disability support, emotional and social well-being of others, and more. So one can argue that care work should be valued regardless of who performs it. So, kaning care work is, wala ni siya dipili ng gender, or regardless of your gender, you can do care work. Like, dili ra ni siya ka-focus sa women, dili ra po ni siya ka-focus sa women, but everyone can do care work regardless of what gender. So, care or reproductive work is the base of a society. Importance in order for true gender justice to prevail. Women working in care industries must be valued both as workers and as women who are working to support their own families. Mechanisms must be put in place to address their true gender needs as care workers and workers with workers' rights. So, basically, to sum it up, essential ang care work for individuals and societal well-being, contributing to a more and compassionate, equitable society. So that would be all for my part, and the next topics will be discussed by my group members. Thank you for listening.